thought he would have told you because it's another thing to talk to you about.
And he didn't.
He didn't.
Mm-mm.
I love it. Well, now it's funny.
It's kind of funny, actually. And now, does that totally go away, that YouTube thing? Because I always make sure it's muted first, but maybe it's not even there at all.
What
here
Jim's
we go.
had me do is check my phone. Check and do.
Okay. Cool. And then another nice thing is you can, if you click on participants, then you can see flying.
Oh, this is spinning.
Yeah.
What is that?
I think this thing's kind of acting as a sail. Did you put the other mic over there? And they're both on and paired and stuff. Yeah.
Please took the shade off. It was acting like a sail.
Okay. And we could move it a little bit.
Yeah.
Or just a pinch. Yeah.
Okay. Those heads aren't gonna block it.
Jeff, how are you? Yes. We got the word yesterday. Corey's older brother, oldest brother, passed away. 4 months older. That's always scary.
Yeah, absolutely. Is he sick for a long time?
He hadn't been well, but he wasn't particularly sick. Chris?
3 months.
Uh,
How about you?
I've done business with him. For the clients to him.
Yeah.
Needed renovations done. Or whatever. So, beverage was changed.
Yeah, at that time we had.
What's your name again?
Like yeah.
That's true. That's true.
He's enjoying the sun.
Flex for sure.
Exactly.
No, he had dementia for 6 years. So he could- all of our time.
Jeff.
Hi, Ivan Jacobs. Nice to meet you.
Hi, how are you guys? Always good to see you.
You say that, Michael. You always say.
I know. It's the way I get to see everyone. Right, you're right.
Thanks.
This is like a
No, right now.
Where are you? Bars and venues. That's a big show. So places like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll wear
Bot Shalom.
Oh,
By my leave.
Hi, how are you? Good to see you.
Okay, well, it's good. It was wet, right? So I wanted to be aware of it. So you should rely on it for it.
my hat, like I said, it was gonna.
Check it out. And it might be related to the.
We'll take into the back designated.
This is the.
You can go to the bar again.
Yeah, you know.
Look, I got a jacket, I got a blanket.
Anyway, and the other thing is, people will get you into the city, right?
Change your mind.
It's been back.
Between.
Oh, Michael. Hi, Michael. Just how's it going? What's going on? Someone
Trying to keep busy instead of trouble.
where were you recently?
Yeah.
Someone said they were with you when I was talking to them. I can't remember who I was talking to.
Oh, I know who it was. Ellen Schneemus.
Yeah.
Because she mentioned to me that my name had come up in conversation with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I went
We
to,
just saw her. She was
I
over
went to
there.
it.
In my car. but
Yes.
I got to deliver all. Hey, Jeff. I got to deliver all the chairs, but then I had to take off. How are you? You know, Michael? Yeah. Did you know Chris well? Yeah, we used to know years ago. I was there on a regular basis. Yeah, just became friendly 18 years ago. Nice guy. He's a nice guy. I was That's true.
Not the most Jewish name I've heard. Although, you know, there was a Jewish guy about 2,000 years ago with that name.
Kramer's always Jewish.
Yeah, although I think I know more Cramers than the Jewish.
The nice person. Had he been sick? I don't know much about it. I guess he had.
Relapse.
Yeah, there's a third of the
Pull it
week.
off your feet and put it on your graves.
That's okay. I sit all day.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, shoot.
This is 3 in 1 week is a lot. Thursday and Friday of last week, and now it's Avi. I don't get my socks. He wasn't.
Yeah, did kids
member. His
get here?
nephew was a member.
Okay.
Okay.
I know, we were just talking about that, how busy.
Yeah. Seemed like a nice guy.
I'll get.
I don't know that I've ever seen you anywhere. I don't know if I would recognize you.
Well,
That's all he talked about. Yeah.
You can find a good spot to sit or stand in the shade.
Mark
We'll
Barter
have
was
the
saying-
pallbearers
Mark
yes,
Barter
at the
was
back.
right after Avi's. Same day.
Yeah,
right proximity.
I didn't know about that one.
Yeah.
Oh.
Here. A concert Sunday night. Swallow Hill. It's just the letters are getting smaller and smaller every day. It says, you know, my dad, until he was 95, never needed glasses. Always drank straight from the bottle. That's Terry.
Thank God.
And your kids, everybody's well.
Thank God. Everybody's, our youngest is getting married in 2.5 weeks.
Oh, that's all tough.
So yeah,
Where?
in Dallas. And that's where she's living and her fiance. We weren't sure what Denver weather was going to be like.
We are leaving for New Jersey on Thursday for our granddaughter's bar mitzvah.
Oh, nice.
And then,
So all our kids will be here.
and
I don't
then,
know.
then Lori got word
Yeah,
yesterday.
so sad.
You know, only 4 months older than me, so it makes me feel a little.
All right, yeah.
Shamayim varetz Ezri Meim Adonai Oseh Shamayim varetz Esaena Me'ayin me'ayin Yavo Ezri Esaena Me'ayin me'ayin Yavo Ezri Me'im Adonai Oseh Shamayim Evad
Welcome, everyone. We invite the family to come sit today, as hard as it might be. That was a Sinai and Laura's theme from Dr. Sivago, which was one of a few bedtime lullabies that Chris used to play for Ben and Sam before they would go to bed. Appropriate song in this moment as we have an opportunity to show our love and respect to Chris, to tuck him in as we bring him with such love and care to his eternal home. Chris is a hard person to say goodbye to. He was such a caring husband. In fact, his plot here, when he and Deb picked it out, was designed so that he could protect Deb, who will one day be next to him, because Chris was the kind of person that never would let Deb be on the outside towards the street. He was a protector by nature. And so even in their eternal home, Chris wanted to be on the outside towards the road and have Deb be on the inside. He was also a beloved brother to Charles and Kathy, of course, a caring father to Sam and Brett, Ben and Jennifer, to his grandchildren, Layla, Kaylin, and Hallie, and also to their beloved pups, Ice, and the grand puppies, Loki, Athena, and Bella. Chris was a true mensch, and it is hard to be here to say goodbye. And yet we know that Chris would have been here for all of us had the roles been reversed, because Chris was the person that showed up, and not only showed up, but showed up with a smile and a helping hand and so much more. We now continue with Psalm 23.
ינחני במגני צדק, ינחני במגני צדק, למען שמו. גם כי אלך בגיא צל מוות, לא אירא רק אתה עמדי. שבטך ומשענתך המה ינחמוני. ארוך לפניי, לפניי, ולך נגד צורריי. שענת ושמן ראשי, הוסיף אך טוב בחסד ירדפוני כל ימי חיי, כל ימי חיי, ושבתי בבית אדוני לאורך ימים. אדוני רואי Adonai Eroi.
Adonai is my shepherd, I shall not want, giving me repose and green meadows, leading me beside the still waters to revive my spirit, guiding me on the right path, for that is God's essence. Though I walk through a valley of the shadow of death, I fear no harm, for you are with me. Your staff and your rod comfort me. You prepare a banquet for me in the presence of my foes. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and kindness shall be my portion all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of Adonai forever. I want to thank everyone for being here today. I'm Rabbi Sarah Schulman, along with Eitan Cantor and Cantor Marty Goldstein. And on behalf of Deb and the family, it means a lot to all of us that you've come to pay your respects to Chris and the family, to mourn his loss, and to honor his life. What a life, and his memory. When someone passes away on Shabbat, we say in Judaism, they were a tzaddik, a truly righteous person, as Noah is described in the Torah. Who is a tzaddik? A midrash on Parshat Noach describes a tzaddik as one who, amidst a time of famine and drought, finds food and gives it to someone estranged from the community. Astonished by this man's thoughtfulness, the townspeople in the midrash bring him to the attention of Rabbi Tanhuma, who asks the reason for this man's seemingly extraordinary behavior. The man answers disarmingly, "Rabbi, I saw someone in distress and I was overcome by compassion, so I gave him some food." The explanation moves Rabbi Tanhuma to pray, "Lord of all that ever existed, if this man who had no obligation to provide for this person was so moved, so that when he saw them in travail, should not you, God, who are known to be merciful and compassionate, be ever more moved to help us who are the descendants of your beloved Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov?" And in that moment, rain began to fall, as if God was answering Rabbi Tanhuma's question. In the normal course of events, Jews are called upon to model their behavior according to the attributes of God. The power of the tzaddik, as this midrash boldly implies, is to reverse the order, to bring God to imitate the spontaneous acts of human kindness. In this manner, it only seems fitting then that our beloved Chris breathed his last breath on Saturday morning. But the truth is, we didn't need Chris Cramer to die on Shabbos for us to all know he was truly a tzaddik, a righteous and compassionate, generous and kind person. For every moment of Chris's life, he proved this to his family, friends, acquaintances, and all those he met. On a personal note, I recall just a few weeks ago when Chris was not feeling well at all. He took the time to check in on me when I was sick, even offering to help me with a meal, a ride, or any support I might need. I honestly don't think he could get up very well at this point, but still, Chris was offering his assistance because, well, that was the kind of man Chris was, a true mensch. Chris was born on March 15th, 1953 in Amsterdam, New York, to parents Carl and Helen, also better known as Barbara Cramer. His grandfather ran Amsterdam Print Company, in which Chris's father and several other family members worked. Chris was a smart, quiet kid who enjoyed taking the change out of the soda machine at the print shop. In fact, he would continue to thoughtfully collect coins his whole life. Chris attended Wilbur H. Lynch High School in Amsterdam, where he hung out with his close friends and enjoyed doing tech for the high school theater group. And he spent summers at Camp Kennebec in Maine, where he developed a passion for outdoor adventures. It was at Wilbur A. Lynch High School dance where Chris would meet the love of his life, Deborah, in April of 1970. They'd each grown up in Amsterdam and had even ridden the same bus on school trips to New York City to see plays. But it wasn't until that fateful night at this school dance when they really connected. And they did, sharing a first kiss under the lights of their high school. And the rest is history. They started going steady shortly after the dance and were married 10 years later on May 11th, 1980. As you can see, it took Chris a little time to come around to the idea of settling down, but he was never going to be with anyone but his beloved Deb. The couple both attended college at the University of Pennsylvania, studying at the prestigious Wharton School of Business. Chris majored in finance and accounting and international business. He then went on to receive his MBA from ASU, and the couple spent several nice years in Arizona, which is where they were married. Chris worked as a CPA for a few years in Arizona, then took a job at Motorola, which involved much travel, much to Chris's delight, as travel was one of his true passions. But the mountains of Colorado called his name, and so Chris and Deb decided to move to Denver for the skiing and maybe work as well. And Chris was serious about his skiing. He would regularly get 20 to 30 days in a season, mostly up at Vail. Soon, Chris and Deb's pride and joy, their children, were born in Colorado. Samantha in 1989 and Ben in 1992. And of course, Chris taught them to ski too. Chris was a protective, loving father, grandfather, and dog owner. He cared so much about his kids, always advocating for them, wanting the best for them, and prioritizing being there for them in their academics, softball, and hockey games, and on summer trips. In fact, at certain times in his professional life, Chris made key choices about his career specifically to accommodate for more time with his children. He even coached Ben's hockey team for a while, despite the fact that he really couldn't skate very well, to play a present and protective role in his son's life. Chris taught Ben and Sam tenacity, how to stick with something and figure it out, and how to make a friend along the way. Because Chris made friends wherever he went, socially and throughout his career in finance, real estate, and construction. And he would also find ways to help and hire others who needed some assistance to get out of a challenging place in life, recent immigrants, those on a path to sobriety, former Marines, and others. Let's figure out how to make this happen, Chris would say. That was how he approached the world, as something to fix, to figure out, a puzzle to solve, a question to ask, a person to serve. It was as if his life was animated by Tikkun Olam, the task of repairing and healing the world, one problem, one person at a time. Chris was also a consummate planner, but as Sam shared, she learned from her dad to plan and plan, and when it was time, to not look before you leap, to live life to the fullest with the people you love. Chris and Deb were married 45 years and worked together for many of them. Chris as the boss and builder, Deb as the contractor, accountant, the one with the pink hammer. They completed their first parade of homes in 1992. Upon reflection, 3 things made their home building business unique. For one, Chris was almost entirely self-taught and wasn't afraid to pilot new ideas and products. 2, the majority of their home buyers became close friends and truly appreciated how Chris was so responsive to their needs and dreams. And 3, there was always a place for the kids to play, as Sam and Ben grew up literally in the family business. Chris and Deb built a business and a family that was tight-knit. The Cramers spent so many special times together here in Denver, up in the mountains, and all over on trips to Disney, Lake Powell, national parks, and a host of other destinations, campgrounds, fishing spots, and on trips that were as much about the journey as any destination. Life was not always easy, but Chris always kept a positive attitude and a rich sense of humor. At the Alliance, our synagogue, Chris was the guy who kids would flock to for his sweet tarts, candies, and shul, and adults for his kind sensibility and great conversations at Kiddush. Jewish community became even more important to Chris during the time that Sam was preparing for her bat mitzvah. And Chris was proud of his Judaism and yours, as he was so proud of so many other things about you, Sam and Ben. He would talk to me about the 2 of you, as I'm sure he did to many others here, with such glowing fatherly pride. He will surely be missed when you need your biggest fan, when it's time to make matzo ball soup, when you need a really good hug or a good laugh, on April Fool's Day, birthdays, movie nights, and holidays, and when you face a puzzle you can't quite solve on your own. There is some measure of comfort knowing that Chris is finally at peace after what has been an extremely difficult and painful year due to his brain tumor and its repercussions. May Chris's memory, warmth, and righteousness be for a source of enduring blessing to his family and to all who loved him in loads. May he now truly rest in peace. May God bring comfort to those who mourn. And let us say, Amen.
Amen.
The jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. Village, the peaceful village, the lion sleeps tonight. Hear the village, the peaceful village, the lion sleeps tonight. Hush, my darling, don't fear, my darling, the lion sleeps tonight. Hush, my darling, don't fear, my darling, the lion sleeps tonight.
Now I'll have an opportunity to participate in the mitzvah of chesed shel emet, of true loving kindness, as we support the family in bringing Chris to his eternal home. At this time, the staff will come forward to lower the casket, and then we invite first the family and then anyone else who is able to add a little shovelful of dirt to help to tuck in Chris. It's customary to first use the back of the spade to show our reluctance to say goodbye and do this mitzvah, and to place the shovel back in the dirt so each person after you can also fulfill this mitzvah.
Let's go to the office.
We're now gonna support the family, moving on from this limbo period, which has been for a long time, a good year and a half now, as Chris's health has been, and Deb's health too. There's been a roller coaster of uncertainty. And now the family will move on into a stage of mourning. And we support them just as they have supported so many others as they walk forward in mourning Chris's loss and remembering his life, his values, his incredible legacy with the words of the Mourner's Kaddish.
Amen.
Ra Hirute Diamli Malkute. Haye Hon, Yome Hon, Ukaye Demo Beit Israel. Bagola Uhisman Kari Bimru. Amen. Yehe Shrei Rabba Leolam Oleo Maya. Vipara Vishaba Vipar Vishoma Vinase. Dar, Vita Le, Vita La, Shmeda Kusha, Brifu, Le'ela, People, Birkata, Shirata, Tush Bekata, Menachemata, Damiran, Beama, Bimru,
Amen.
Yehe, Shlomo Rabba, Min Shemaya, Dehaim, Alenu, Vial Kol Yisrael, Bimru, Amen. Says Shalom, Bibroma, Uya says Shalom, Alenu Vial Kol Yisrael, Bimru, Amen. Now welcome up Cantor Marty Goldstein, longtime friend to the family, okay? To chant the El Malay Rachamim Memorial Prayer for us.
I just wanted to say a couple of words about my friend Chris and Debbie, of course, and the family. They showed up right about the time that the Alliance was exploding with people. And we had over 900 families and strollers in the hall. And among them were Sammy and Vince. And he had a strange accent when I said hello to him. I recognized because I went to school in Oswego, New York, which is way up there, further than Amsterdam, which I don't know how many of you know where that is. But it's a beautiful little town nestled in upstate New York. And I felt a connection to them just from that. But Chris was always smiling, no matter what. And as Rabbi Sarah captured so beautifully, a kind word for everybody. I know he'd be really happy that he had an orchestra here with him today. Thank you, Cantor 810. The Alliance is very lucky to have such a beautiful leadership now. He had a very special Hebrew name, which I didn't know until just now, but he was Chaim, which means life, and Yechiel, which means God lives. And his mother's name was Orah, which means light. And Torah is called or light, the light of the Torah. So Chris really was the light of the Torah in his own special way. You guys should carry it on, okay? Nishmat Chaim ben Yechiel ve'ora shalach le'olamo began Eden, hoy began Eden, tehem menuchato ana ba'al harachamim Hastirehu b'seitu gnabech le'olamim utzeror b'tzror ha'chaim et nishmato Adonai hu nachalato yanuach Shalom. Mishkavo Venomar. Amen.
Exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite peace and your sheltering presence among the holy and the pure to our dear friend and family member, Chris Cramer. May his soul be bound up in the bond of life. May you bring peace to all who dwell among him and among us. And let us say, Amen. Shiva will be held at Chris and Deb's home tonight, 17th Red Fox Lane in Greenwood Village, with visitation from 5 to 8 p.m. and Minyan at 6 p.m. And also tomorrow night with visitation from 4 to 8 p.m. and Dominion again at 6 p.m. We invite you to show up, to bring your presence, your stories, your memories, and your comfort. This time that concludes our service, and to show how we will continue to show up in comfort to the family. At this time, we're going to make 2 lines facing one another so that we can escort the family away with the traditional words, Hamakom Yenachem Etchem V'Tov Sha'ar Avalei Tzion V'Yerushalayim. May God grant comfort to you amongst all the mourners of Zion and Jerusalem.
Well, looks like the one over here. Huh? So Wednesday. I think Thursday. Thursday. We asked the mortuary to schedule it for 10. Well, I haven't heard. Well, let's see. Good. Yeah.
Probably waited a moment for the stand and stuff. Let's let the ladies get this stuff out of the way. Just
Oh.
walking away. Yeah.
I'm about to end it. Yeah.